Ada's hand didn't shake as she folded the note. 2 years of planning, and tonight it all came down to a single piece of paper and a split-second decision that went against every instinct screaming in her head. She moved through the restaurant's dining room with practiced ease, balancing a tray of champagne glasses. Table 7. Min Jae Park sat with his fiancée, Sophia Chen, discussing wedding venues like he was a normal person, like he hadn't destroyed Ada's entire world 26 months ago. The note burned in her apron pocket. She'd written it 10 minutes ago in the bathroom, hands trembling with rage and something worse. Doubt. Because tonight was supposed to be different. Tonight, the small vial tucked in her other pocket was supposed to end up in Min Jae's wine. Tasteless. Untraceable. He'd be dead before dessert, and Ada would finally have justice for Marcus. Her brother. Her twin. Her best friend who'd gotten mixed up with the wrong people, borrowed money from Min Jae's loan sharks, and ended up in the Han River with concrete blocks tied to his ankles. The police called it suicide. Ada knew better. She'd spent 2 years working her way into this restaurant, learning Min Jae's routines, his favorite tables, his security patterns. 2 years of grief turning into cold, focused purpose. Then 15 minutes ago, she'd served Sophia lunch in the private dining room and overheard everything. Sophia's voice had been ice cold on the phone, speaking Mandarin. The moment he orders dessert, 14 shooters, 2 entry points. Everyone dies. No witnesses. A pause. Yes, including the staff. Burn it all. Including the staff. 23 people worked tonight's shift. Diego, the sous chef with 3 kids. Yuki, the hostess saving for medical school. Old Mr. Kim, who'd given Ada a job when she had nothing but rage and a fake resume. Ada had stood outside that door, tray in hand, and felt her carefully constructed plan crumble. She could poison Min Jae right now, walk out, and let Sophia's people massacre everyone else in 2 hours. Or the note in her pocket felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. She approached table 7. Min Jae looked up, and Ada forced herself to meet his eyes. He was handsome in that dangerous way, sharp suit, sharper eyes. He had no idea who she was. Why would he? Marcus had been just another number in his empire of misery. Your water, sir. Ada refilled his glass, her heartbeat thunder in her ears. This was insane. She should let him die. He deserved it, but the others didn't. Her hand moved before her mind could stop it. The note slipped from her fingers into his palm as she set down the glass. His eyes widened slightly, fingers closing around the paper. Ada walked away, without looking back, her legs somehow still working. She made it 3 steps before the world exploded. The front windows shattered inward. Gunfire erupted, professional and precise. Screams filled the air as Seoul's elite dove for cover. Ada hit the floor on instinct, her body remembering training from a lifetime ago when Marcus had dragged her to self-defense classes. They were early. Sophia's people were supposed to wait for dessert. Something had changed. Through the chaos, Ada saw Min Jae flip the table with one arm, pulling Sophia down with the other. His security team drew weapons, returning fire. But there were too many shooters. The kitchen doors exploded open. They'd come from both sides. This was execution, not a robbery. Min Jae's head of security took a bullet to the chest and dropped. The remaining guards tried to form a protective circle, but the attackers were everywhere. Ada's brain did the calculation in half a second. The back exit was 12 feet away. She could make it. Leave Min Jae to his fate. This was what she wanted, right? Him dead, her avenged. But Diego was pinned behind the bar, terror on his face. Yuki was screaming near the hostess stand. Mr. Kim had gone down, clutching his leg. Damn it. Damn it. Back exit, she shouted in Korean, then English. Everyone to the back. She grabbed Mr. Kim under the arms, dragging him toward the kitchen. He was heavy, and bullets sparked off the marble near her head. Someone else grabbed his other arm. She looked up. Min-jae. His eyes locked on hers for one instant of recognition, not of who she was, but what she'd done. The note, the warning. He'd believed her. "Go!" he shouted, and together they hauled Mr. Kim through the kitchen doors. The back alley was chaos. Staff members poured out, some bleeding, all terrified. Min-jae's remaining security guard was screaming into his phone for backup. Min-jae turned to Ada, blood on his temple from a graze. "You! The note! You knew!" It wasn't a question. Ada's hands were shaking now, adrenaline crashing through her system. "I heard your fiancée on the phone. She planned this. All of it." His jaw tightened. "Where is she?" "Still inside, I think. I saw her go toward the—" The explosion cut her off. The restaurant's front wall erupted in flames, the shockwave knocking them all back. Fire billowed into the night sky. "No!" Min-jae stared at the inferno. "Sophia!" Ada felt sick. Whatever Sophia had planned, it had just gone catastrophically wrong. Or maybe this was always the endgame. Kill Min-jae and destroy the evidence. Sirens wailed in the distance. Min-jae's driver pulled up in a black Mercedes, tires squealing. The security guards started pushing Min-jae toward the car. "Wait." Min-jae's eyes found Ada again. "You saved my life. Why?" The question hung in the smoke-filled air. Ada could walk away right now. Disappear into Seoul's streets like she'd planned. Her revenge had been stolen by Sophia, but Min-jae was still alive, and that was its own kind of justice delayed. But then his phone rang. Min-jae answered, his face going carefully blank as he listened. When he spoke, his voice was deadly calm. "When?" A pause. "How many?" Another pause. Longer. "Understood." He lowered the phone and looked at Ada with something new in his eyes. Not gratitude. Calculation. "My penthouse was hit 30 minutes ago. Same time as the restaurant. Coordinated attack." His voice was flat, controlled. "My head of security just confirmed they found evidence. Communications. Plans. This wasn't just about killing me tonight. Someone's been planning a complete takeover of my organization. And according to the evidence that they planted, that someone is you." Ada's blood turned to ice. "What?" "Photos of you. Transcripts of fake conversations. Bank transfers to your name." His eyes never left her face. "You're being framed as the inside person who sold me out. Which means whoever really did this wants both of us dead." The pieces clicked together in Ada's mind with horrible clarity. Sophia had seen her listening at the door, had known Ada would try to warn Min-jae, or run. So she'd set up a frame job. Make it look like the mysterious waitress was the traitor. When they both died tonight, the story would be neat. Tidy. "I didn't—" Ada's voice came out strangled. "I would never work for you. I hate everything you—" "I believe you." Min-jae cut her off. "Because if you were really working with them, I'd be dead right now. You had opportunity, means, but you warned me instead." He stepped closer. "So here's the situation. Someone just tried to kill us both and make it look like you betrayed me. My organization will hunt you. Sophia's people will hunt you. And the police will probably hunt you for whatever charges they can make. Stick to this massacre." Ada wanted to run. Every muscle in her body screamed at her to run. "Or," Min-jae continued, "you come with me. We figure out who's really behind this. And we make them pay." "I don't want your help," Ada spat. "I don't want anything from you." "Then you'll die tonight." His voice was matter-of-fact. "Your choice." Police lights strobed at the end of the alley. They had maybe 30 seconds. Ada's mind raced through her options. Run and become a fugitive in a foreign country with no resources. Stay and try to explain to Korean police why a black American waitress had prior knowledge of a massacre. Or get in the car with the man she'd spent 2 years planning to kill. Marcus's face flashed through her mind. Her twin brother, laughing at her terrible Korean pronunciation during their last video call. 3 days later, he was dead. 10 seconds, Min-jae's security guard warned. Ada climbed into the Mercedes. The car peeled out as police vehicles screamed past them toward the burning restaurant. Ada pressed herself against the far door, as far from Min-jae as possible. Her entire body vibrated with conflicting impulses. This man's organization had killed Marcus. She should be strangling him right now, not sitting in his car accepting his protection. "Where are we going?" she forced out. "Safe house in Gangnam. We need to regroup, figure out who we're dealing with." Min-jae was texting rapidly on his phone. "My people are securing the location now." "Your people?" Ada laughed, bitter and sharp. "You mean the loan sharks and drug dealers who work for you?" Min-jae's eyes snapped to her. "You know who I am." "Everyone knows who you are. Min-jae Park, third-generation crime family. Your grandfather built an empire on gambling and protection rackets. Your father expanded into legitimate business as cover. And you—" She met his gaze, letting all her hatred show. "You prey on desperate people. Charge them interest they can't pay. And when they can't deliver, you make them disappear." Something flickered across his face. "Who did you lose?" "Don't." Ada's voice cracked. "Don't pretend to care." "I'm not pretending. If someone in my organization stepped out of line, I need to know." He leaned forward. "Give me a name." "Marcus Webb. 2 years ago, he borrowed $50,000 from one of your loan operations. When he couldn't pay, they killed him." Min-jae pulled out his phone, fingers flying across the screen. The car ride stretched in tense silence. Finally, he looked up. "Marcus Webb. Borrowed money from a subsidiary operation in Itaewon. Defaulted on payments." He paused. "Official report says he committed suicide. Jumped into the Han River." "He didn't jump." Ada's voice rose. "Marcus was terrified of water. Ever since we were kids and he nearly drowned. He would never—" She stopped, breathing hard. "They killed him and made it look like suicide." Min-jae studied her for a long moment. "That operation in Itaewon? It wasn't authorized. Someone was running a side business using my family's name for credibility." He scrolled through his phone. "I shut it down 8 months ago when I discovered it. 3 people went to prison." "Convenient story." "It's the truth. But you don't have to believe me." He pocketed his phone. "Right now, we have bigger problems. Someone just tried to kill both of us using military-grade coordination. That's not street-level crime. That's something else." The car pulled into an underground garage. Min-jae's guards swept the area before nodding. They took a private elevator to the 20th floor. The safe house was sterile. Expensive furniture. No personal touches. Min-jae immediately went to a laptop on the desk, pulling up security footage. "Look at this." He turned the screen toward Ada. The footage showed the restaurant from multiple angles. Ada watched herself deliver the note, watched Min-jae's face as he read it. Then the attack began, and Ada saw something she'd missed in the chaos. The shooters weren't aiming at random. They were targeting specific people. Min-jae's security team first, then his known associates sitting at other tables. The civilian casualties were almost incidental. "This was a purge," Min-jae said quietly. "Someone's trying to wipe out my entire command structure in one night. And frame me for it." Ada felt sick. "But why me? I'm nobody. You're the perfect patsy. Foreign, no connections, working-class job. And you were in a position to observe my routines." He pulled up another file. "These are the fabricated communications they planted. Someone spent months creating a digital trail showing you were recruited by a rival organization." Ada stared at the fake evidence. It was thorough. bank deposits, encrypted messages, photos of her near Min Jae's known locations. If she hadn't known it was false, even she would believe it. Sophia, she said. This has to be Sophia. She was coordinating the attack. Maybe, but Sophia doesn't have this kind of technical capability, or the military resources to pull off simultaneous hits. Min Jae's jaw tightened. Someone bigger is backing her. Someone who wants my organization fractured and leaderless. His phone buzzed. He answered in Korean, his expression darkening with each word. When he hung up, he looked at Ada with something like respect. You saved 43 people tonight. My security managed to evacuate most of the staff through the back after you showed them the exit route. He paused. Diego, the sous chef with 3 kids. He's in the hospital but stable. Yuki's fine. Mr. Kim has a bullet in his leg but he'll recover. Ada felt something crack in her chest. She'd spent 2 years consumed by revenge, and tonight she'd saved the man she wanted dead. Nothing made sense anymore. Why are you telling me this? Because you need to understand what we're up against. Whoever planned this doesn't care about collateral damage. They'll burn down buildings full of innocent people to achieve their goals. Min Jae stood. You wanted me dead. I get it. If someone killed my sister... He stopped. But right now, we're both targets, and I'm offering you a choice. Help me find who did this, and I'll help you find the truth about your brother. I know the truth. Your people killed him. Then let me prove it, one way or another. He met her eyes. My organization keeps detailed records. Every transaction, every operation. If someone in my family killed your brother, there will be evidence. And if I'm lying, you can walk away, or finish what you came to do tonight. Ada's hand unconsciously went to her apron pocket. The vial was still there, the poison she'd planned to use. Min Jae noticed the gesture. His expression didn't change. You came to kill me tonight. It wasn't a question, but Ada answered anyway. Yes. Fair enough. He turned back to his laptop. But you didn't. That means something. Before Ada could respond, the apartment door exploded inward. 3 men in tactical gear stormed in, weapons raised. Min Jae dove behind the desk, pulling Ada with him. Bullets tore through the room, destroying the laptop, shattering windows. Back bedroom. Now! Min Jae shoved Ada toward a hallway. They ran. Behind them, Min Jae's security guard engaged the attackers. Gunfire echoed through the apartment. Min Jae pulled Ada into a bedroom and slammed the door. He immediately went to the closet, pushing aside clothes to reveal a hidden safe. His fingers flew across the keypad. How did they find us this fast? Ada gasped. They've been tracking me, probably for weeks. The safe opened. Min Jae pulled out 2 guns, handing one to Ada. Do you know how to use this? Ada took it, checking the magazine automatically. Marcus made me learn. After he got involved with... She trailed off. After he got involved with people like me. Min Jae finished. He grabbed a laptop bag from the safe. Everything's in here, financial records, communications, including information about the Itaewon operation. He met her eyes. If we die tonight, no one will ever know the truth. Not about your brother, not about this conspiracy. We'll just be 2 more bodies in a gang war. More gunfire. Closer now. The security guard was losing. Min Jae moved to the window. 20 floors up, no fire escape. But there was a ledge that connected to the next building. You're joking, Ada said. I wish I was. He opened the window. Wind whipped into the room. Can you make it? Ada looked at the gap between buildings, maybe 3 feet, with a 20-story drop below. The bedroom door shook. Someone was trying to break it down. Can you? She shot back. Min Jae almost smiled. Let's find out. He went first, stepping out onto the ledge with steady precision. Ada followed, the gun tucked in her waistband, her heart hammering. The wind pushed at her, and she pressed herself against the building. Don't look down. Don't look down. Behind them, the bedroom door splintered open. Jump! Min-jae shouted. They jumped. Ada's feet hit the opposite ledge, and her hands scrambled for purchase against the concrete. For one horrible second, she felt herself tipping backward, the night air pulling at her. Then Min-jae's hand clamped around her wrist, hauling her against the building. Bullets sparked off the concrete where they'd been standing seconds before. Inside. Now! Min-jae kicked through a window. Glass shattered, and they tumbled into what looked like an empty office space. Emergency lights cast everything in red. They ran through cubicles and down a stairwell, their footsteps echoing. Ada's lungs burned. Behind them, she heard shouts and more footsteps. The attackers were following. How many people want you dead? Ada gasped. I stopped counting. Min-jae hit the ground floor and shouldered through an exit into an alley. A motorcycle was parked near a dumpster. He grabbed it, hot wiring it with practiced ease. Get on. Ada climbed on behind him, wrapping her arms around his waist because she had no choice. The motorcycle roared to life, and they shot into Seoul's nighttime traffic. They wove through cars and down side streets, Min-jae driving like he knew every shortcut in the city. Finally, he pulled into the parking garage of a small, run-down building in Hongdae. What is this place? Ada asked as they dismounted. My father's old office, before he went legitimate. Min-jae led her to a freight elevator. No one's used it in 10 years. No digital footprint. The elevator groaned upward. In the enclosed space, Ada became acutely aware of how close they were standing. This man who she'd hated for 2 years, who she'd planned to poison, who'd just saved her life twice in the last hour. Why are you doing this? The question came out softer than she intended. Min-jae didn't look at her. My sister, Ji-woo. She was 17 when she overdosed on pills from a shipment my father's organization distributed. I was 25, just starting to take over the family business. I found her in her bedroom. His voice was flat, controlled. She'd been depressed for months. I was too busy with business to notice. The pills that killed her came from our own supply chain. The elevator doors opened. Min-jae stepped out into a dusty office filled with old filing cabinets. After she died, I started digging. Found out half our operations were hurting people just like her. Desperate. Lost. Easy to exploit. He opened the laptop bag. I've spent 7 years trying to dismantle my father's empire from the inside. Make it legitimate. Get out of everything that destroys lives. Ada stared at him. You expect me to believe you're some kind of reformed criminal? No. I expect you to believe I understand what it's like to lose someone to this world. He pulled out the laptop and booted it up. And I expect you to want answers about your brother as much as I want to know who just tried to kill us. The laptop screen glowed in the darkness. Min-jae pulled up file after file. Financial records, operation logs, communications. The Itaewon loan operation, started 3 years ago by my cousin, Sung-ho. He was running it without authorization, using the family name to intimidate borrowers. Min-jae turned the screen toward Ada. Here's your brother's file. Ada's hands shook as she read. There was Marcus's name, the loan amount, the payment schedule, and then, at the bottom, a note. Borrower became problematic, claimed he would go to police about operation. Sung-ho ordered termination, made to look like suicide. The words blurred. Ada felt like she'd been punched in the chest. I found out about Sung-ho's operation 8 months after your brother died, Min-jae said quietly. When I discovered what he'd done, I turned him over to the prosecutors myself. He's serving 15 years for murder and racketeering. That doesn't bring Marcus back. Ada's voice cracked. No, it doesn't. And I'm sorry. Min-jae met her eyes. If I'd known sooner, if I'd been paying attention instead of focusing on expansion, maybe I could have stopped it. Ada wanted to hate him. She'd built her entire life around hating him. But sitting in this dusty office, looking at proof that he'd actually tried to make things right, her hatred felt hollow. "Why didn't you just shut down everything?" she asked. "Walk away?" "Because there are 200 families whose legitimate livelihoods depend on our legal operations now. Restaurants, real estate, import-export. If I just walked away, everything would collapse back into chaos. Or worse, someone like Sung-ho would take over." He closed the laptop. "I'm trying to break the cycle. It's slow. It's messy. But it's the only way that doesn't destroy innocent people in the process." His phone buzzed. Min-jae's face went pale as he read the message. "What is it?" "Sophia. She survived the restaurant explosion." He turned the phone toward Ada. The message was brief. "I know you're with her. Bring me the waitress and I'll let you live. You have 6 hours." Ada's blood ran cold. She's not going to let either of us live. "I know." Min-jae was already typing. "But now we know she's desperate, which means we have leverage." "What leverage?" "She has an army. We have a motorcycle and an old laptop. We have something better." Min-jae pulled up another file. "While you were reading about your brother, I was accessing Sophia's communications. She's been working with the Chen family, yes, but also with someone inside the Korean National Intelligence Service, someone who's been using my organization as cover for weapons trafficking." Ada leaned closer, reading the intercepted messages. Names, dates, shipment routes. This wasn't just about a gang war. This was international. "If we expose this, Sophia and her backers go down, but we need proof they'll take seriously." Min-jae looked at her. "The restaurant had security cameras. If we can get that footage before the police lock it down, we can prove Sophia coordinated the attack. The restaurant is a crime scene. It'll be crawling with police." "I know." Min-jae stood. "Which is why we need to move now before they secure all the evidence." Ada should have walked away right then. She'd gotten her answers about Marcus. She could disappear into Seoul streets, maybe make it to the American embassy, claim she was a witness who needed protection. But Diego was in the hospital because Ada had worked in that restaurant. Yuki had nightmares ahead of her. Mr. Kim would walk with a limp for the rest of his life. And Sophia was still out there, ready to burn down anyone who got in her way. "Okay," Ada heard herself say. "But after this, we're done. You go your way, I go mine." Min-jae nodded. Fair enough. They took the motorcycle back toward the restaurant. Police tape surrounded the burned building, but Min-jae knew a back way through an adjacent shop. They moved through shadows, avoiding security lights. The restaurant's security office was in the basement, miraculously untouched by the fire. Min-jae accessed the system while Ada kept watch. Her gun felt heavy in her hand. "Got it," Min-jae whispered. He was copying files to a drive. Footage from all angles, clear. Shots of Sophia coordinating with the shooters before the attack. Footsteps echoed above them. Police were sweeping the building. "Time to go," Ada whispered. They slipped out the same way they came, the evidence drive clutched in Min-jae's hand. Back on the motorcycle, racing through Seoul's pre-dawn streets. "Where now?" Ada asked. "Somewhere public. Somewhere Sophia can't risk an open attack." Min-jae pulled out his phone. "I'm sending this footage to every major news outlet in Korea. By sunrise, everyone will know what she did. She'll come after us." "Let her." Min-jae's voice was steel. "I'm done running." They ended up at Namsan Tower, the observation deck opening just as the sun rose over Seoul. Tourists and early morning joggers filled the area. Safety in numbers. Min-jae uploaded the footage. Ada watched his phone blow up with notifications as news outlets picked up the story. By the time the sun cleared the horizon, Sophia's face was on every news site in Korea. It's done, Min-jae said quietly. Ada looked out over the city. Somewhere down there, Marcus had died. Somewhere down there, innocent people were waking up to news of last night's massacre. And somewhere, Sophia was watching her world collapse. What happens now? Ada asked. Now I testify. Give prosecutors everything I have on the conspiracy. Help put away everyone involved. Min-jae glanced at her. And you? Ada thought about Marcus, about the 2 years she'd spent consumed by revenge, about the moment in that restaurant when she'd chosen to save lives instead of taking one. I think, she said slowly, I need to figure out who I am when I'm not angry anymore. Min-jae almost smiled. That sounds like a good place to start. They stood there as Seoul woke up below them. Two people who'd started the night as enemies and ended it as something else. Not quite allies, not quite friends. But maybe, possibly two people who understood what it meant to try to be better than the worst thing that ever happened to them. Ada's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Thank you for saving my life last night. Diego. Then another. You're a hero, Yuki. And another. Mr. Kim says you're welcome at his table anytime. Ada felt tears prick her eyes. Maybe revenge wasn't what Marcus would have wanted anyway. Maybe he would have wanted her to live, to heal, to be more than her grief. Hey, Min-jae said softly, for what it's worth, your brother would be proud of you. Ada nodded, not trusting her voice. The sun climbed higher. Below them, police sirens wailed toward Sophia's location. Justice, slow and imperfect, but justice nonetheless. So, Min-jae said, what are you going to do now? Ada looked at him, really looked at him. Not the monster she'd built in her head, but the complicated, flawed person, trying to make amends for his family's sins. I don't know yet, she admitted. But I think I'm going to figure it out without poison in my pocket. Min-jae's laugh was surprised and genuine. That's probably for the best. They watched the sunrise together, two survivors of a night that changed everything, standing at the edge of whatever came next. If you enjoyed this story of revenge, redemption, and unexpected alliances, hit that like button and subscribe for more thrilling tales. Drop a comment below telling me what you think Ada should do next. Should she stay in Seoul? Return home? Team up with Min-jae again? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next story.